It's a huge honour. Very surprised. It was, I guess, a culmination of a lot of the work we've been doing over the last few years, and specifically on Rwanda. So I guess, given that I led that in terms of the cases involved that went to the Supreme Court, that they recognise my work, but it's absolutely not limited to my work. It's very much a testament to our team, our public law team, my team, the individuals like Lewis Kett, Shaw Isaac, Sophie Lucas, Manini Menon, Simon Robinson, Jennifer Matthews, and so many others within the team that worked pretty much day and night for what seemed forever to bring that policy down. And there we were in the Supreme Court, last November, with that judgment and that win. All of this was done with legal aid, as a legal aid case. So to work at that level, to ensure that you've got to produce the highest quality work. You're working with lead barristers, you're working with a very demanding court, whether at every level, and they expect our work to be just flawless. But in the context of super urgent, super intense timeframes, going back to when there was a flight taking off and our clients were all in detention, about to be put on a plane, even on the plane where we got that last minute order from Strasbourg that effectively stopped the plane, all the way through the courts leading in the Supreme Court. That work was of such a pressurized nature that I think the difficulty was just being able to keep up with what was expected of us. We represented the lead claimants in the challenge to the Rwanda policy. That was at every level, effectively. There are other legal teams involved too. We got the order from the European Court of Human Rights that effectively stopped the plane, and that was back in 2022. And then the kind of domestic litigation began from the High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, and our team led throughout. We had the benefit of what I would say are the sort of the best barristers in the business. We were very lucky, and they were absolutely magnificent. Special mention has to go out to Raza Hossain, KC, and Philippa Kaufman, KC, both at Matrix Chambers, who led a really talented and magnificent junior team, and really were effective in bringing down that policy, because they were also up against a really formidable legal team that the Home Secretary had instructed. So we were really blessed that we had that team on board. Rwanda was and will always be a massive highlight in anyone's career. I mean, going to Supreme Court in such a political climate that it has been, leading up to the elections. Up until then, Rwanda has been a flagship policy of the former government, and it was so high profile, and for us to be involved in the way we were, sort of leading that challenge, it's nice to have been recognised in that way. But I also think Lalis have used the opportunity to recognise us through this award and through highlighting me, because of, I think, the work we've done, not just with Rwanda but in this sphere, and recognise the work we've done for migrants and for refugees. Really, our role in being a real thorn in that government's plans, whether they are in relation to accommodation centres and detention policies, pushing people back in the English Channel, removing people, coming out with all sorts of really extreme and hostile policies, and we've been at the forefront in challenging that in this public law team, and that's why I'm proud and really grateful that they've chosen this moment to recognise our work that's been pretty much taking this government, or recognising our work in taking that government or holding them to account. I don't think our work and our project is now over. Um, there's, I think, a lot of work to be done. There's a new government, but the same issues will persist. We have many clients to represent. Their cases are effectively on hold. There are a number of things that we can look at from a public law angle. We need dedicated, passionate caseworkers, solicitors, lawyers in general who have a passion for human rights, for public law, for justice. And this is in many ways a new dawn. But we've always said, we don't discriminate as in terms of who is in power. We represent our clients, and we will always hold government to account, and that's what public law is ultimately about. And that's why we need new, hungry, really passionate young lawyers to join us.